Hey guys!
Hi!
Welcome to our first official video about Disney, living in Disney. Today we're going to be talking about something that I'm very passionate about because it's my favorite part of going to Disney, and that is meeting characters. Now Mike and I, since we've been here, have met a lot of characters. That's like one of the things we do all the time is go and meet new characters that we haven't seen before. And these are some things that you should do, shouldn't do, and just some general tips to make your experience a lot better. So let's get into it. So I've kind of broken meeting characters into like three parts. Interaction, autograph, and picture. So let's start with the interaction because that is what makes it so special. When you meet a character, usually they're going to give you a hug, or some characters will give you a kiss if you're like a little kid or you're really, really excited. Don't count on that. Typically it's for little kids. And that's awesome. We love that. But when you're doing that, you have to remember that as we can get hurt, so can Mickey Mouse. So when you're doing those things, we're actually being physically, like you're touching like a character, make sure you're gentle. Because I've been in line to meet Mickey Mouse quite a few times and seen him got lifted, and I don't think he enjoyed that very much. So maybe just be gentle with them. This kind of goes hand in hand with that, is just treating them as you would want to be treated or how you treat like a normal person, because ultimately like you wouldn't come up to somebody and like try and hit their nose. So maybe don't do that to them. As it might hurt you, it could also probably hurt them, and we don't want to do that. We love Mickey, we don't want to hurt him. This also, it goes hand in hand with that. These are all things that I have seen happen, by the way. That's why I'm putting them on the list. If you want to do something special with a character, like physically, or you want it for like a picture, like say you want to give Minnie Mouse a kiss, like you want to have her kiss her on the cheek or kiss her nose, that's cool. Just make sure like you ask. Say, hey Minnie, can I kiss your nose for a picture? And she'll probably say yes. But just like you wouldn't just randomly go up and kiss some random person's nose, maybe just be courteous.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. Just be nice, because they're usually going to say yes. But asking just makes the interaction go a little bit more smoother, because then you're not going to catch her off guard, and the picture's going to look better anyway, because they're going to be able to pose, and it'll just look cuter overall. So ask. Same thing, if the character doesn't offer you a hug right away, maybe just say before you leave or when you're taking a picture, say, hey, Mickey, can I have a hug? He'll give you a hug. Just
Mickey's cool like that.
Yeah, if there's something that you really want and it's like a physical thing, or if it's something like you're not sure if the character wants to do, just ask them. They are just like that. Next thing about I have seen they get kind of starstruck. So maybe characters make it kind of starstruck. He still does it. But you're going to have a much better interaction if you're talking about. So, like, we said Mickey all the time and went to visit him for iridescent nights.
Oh, yeah.
We were like, Mickey, you know, I think it's about you. You're like that, and then you're so beautiful. And generally, the characters really enjoy that. Like, they look up. Character will start to lead you towards the exit. Don't linger. I've seen this happen a lot. It goes with the hand in hand with the starstruck thing. People tend to just hang out there. And though Mickey does want to see everybody, he wants to spend as much time with you as he can, he's also got to meet a whole lot more people that were in line behind you. So just be courteous, and be courteous to Mickey and the people behind you, and don't linger after your interaction's over. Say your goodbye and go back. You can always get back in line. Second part of meeting characters is autographs. Autographs are one of the coolest parts of meeting characters, in my opinion. I love getting autographs.
I don't.
Mike doesn't care.
No.
But again, this kind of goes with being courteous and making sure that you're being as kind as you can to the character, the people behind you, the attendant, generally everyone involved in the action, including the photographer if there is one. So things like if you're doing an autograph book, making sure you have it open when you get there so the character can just take it out of your hand and sign it. And having a pen. If you don't have a pen, that's okay too. The character attendant will almost always have one. So just ask, but ask them as you're in line. If you can get their attention, say, hey, we want to have an autograph for Mickey. Do you have a pen we could use? And she'll go, yeah, and she'll get it. He or she will get it ready for you. It just makes the overall interaction go way smoother, way just easier on everyone. It'll make it less stressful for you, the attendant, the character, everyone involved.
Come on.
Puddin's crying. She wants up.
Yeah.
She might have to use the bathroom. So this also goes with autographs. I've seen a couple people do this. I don't usually do it just because I know that there's a lot of people behind me and I don't like to take up too much time. But this is something you absolutely can do. Not saying don't do this. I'm just saying for me, I just like to make sure that I'm being as courteous as I can be. Is if you do want to have your autograph personalized and say happy birthday so-and-so or have your name on the autograph in any sort of way or somebody's name, whatever, make sure you ask. Don't just tell because it can come off kind of rude. And I know not everyone's thinking about these things. You paid all this money to be here, but everyone there is a person. Just be kind. Say, hey, Mickey, can you sign this to this person's name? And he'll probably do it. And if you do want to do that, make sure you spell the name. That way your spelling is correct and the character doesn't have to worry about spelling it wrong. So if you're going to say, hey, can you sign this to Anastasia? Just to spell Anastasia for the character. It really just makes it easier for everybody. So the character's not is this right?
Hi, Puddin.
It's just easier. Hi, honey. And the other thing with autographs is, there's a puddin' butt. Knowing and usually you can find all this on Disney's website too, what characters can and can't sign. Because there are some things that they won't sign. And your attendant will tell you if they can't. But just a couple examples that I've seen happen before is clothing. Characters can sign clothes, it just can't be on you. So you can't ask Mickey to sign the shirt that you're wearing. You'd have to have it off in your hand with another shirt on, that kind of thing. Yeah, you don't go shirtless and meet Mickey. That's not a vibe. They can't sign anything legal papers or as receipts. They know they can't sign those. Things like that. Don't ask Mickey to sign your passport. He's not going to.
When did this happen?
Oh my gosh, I literally saw it happen at Red Carpet. I was in line to meet Mickey and Minnie, and yeah, it was a whole thing. It was a tour group.
I've never seen that.
And Mickey's not going to sign your passport.
No.
But that's just knowing, go online, you can even look it up. I'm sure there's some blogs that have exact things that they can and can't sign. Just double check before you go ask Mickey to sign something and then you can't get it signed anyway. Might as well know before you go, right?
You don't want to get disappointed when you get there.
No, better to be prepared. And if you're not sure, ask the attendant before you get there. Say, hey, can you sign this? And then they'll tell you. And if not, they usually offer you a little note card that he can sign instead. Next part of the interaction is the picture. And this is the most important part because if you don't get a picture, it didn't happen, right? That's how everything is in Disney. At least that's how people make it out to be. So pictures are chaos. There's little tips to make it a little bit better. Puddin', can you please? If you have a bigger group, which is more than I'd say 2 people, even if you have 2 people, this still can apply. But especially if you have a big family reunion thing or a giant group of girls on a cheer thing or dance thing, whatever it is. When you go in, try to take the group picture first. Tell the attendant, say, hey, there's a lot of us, there's this many of us, we want to take a group picture, and then we have some individuals that we want. Totally fine. But do the group picture first because after you all line up, the character will step right in and you'll take that picture, and then as the persons change, you can just walk out of the picture and people can just leave steadily and get those individuals and those other smaller groups. It just makes it generally so much faster. I've seen this happen so many times. It really does make a difference. So if you have a big group, do your group picture first, then do your smaller groups, then do your individuals, and people can slowly go in and out. And it just creates also less traffic and people aren't going to get knocked over. Safety-wise, it's just smarter. Second thing is, this is literally drives me absolutely nuts with people, okay? So please, if you hear nothing else in this video, hear this. Decide what pictures you want in line. Typically, to meet any character, if it's a meet and greet, unless it's like a dining situation, but even then, you still have plenty of time. You have at least 20 minutes, 10, 15 minutes to wait in line. While you're in line, decide what pictures you want. If you have a large group, decide, okay, we want one group picture, we want one with the kids, we want one with the adults, and then we want this family to take a picture, this family to take a picture, and each person wants an individual. Have that decided before you get there. That way, you're not in the interaction, because you gotta remember, there's a huge line behind you. And though you've paid all this money to be there, so have the people behind you.
Yep.
And you have to remember that, though you did pay all this money, you have to be courteous. And generally, you just don't want to make anyone stressed out. And it'll also make you feel a little bit better, because you're not gonna like, oh, I forgot to take this picture after I left the interaction. Decide that way you're in line. That way when you get in, you can go, okay, we want this group picture, and then just have it ready. And then you have more time to interact with the character, because if you take too much time taking the pictures, you're cutting down on your overall interaction time, because they can only spend so much time with each family. Unfortunately, as much as I'd love to spend a whole hour with Mickey Mouse, I totally would. He can't do that. It'll give you more time to interact and have time for things like that. Same with autograph books. Like, if you have a lot of them, have them all ready, because then it's gonna go faster, and then you're gonna get more time to talk to him. Just a little tip.
This dog.
This dog wants in this video so bad. You're gonna join us.
Oh my goodness.
I can't see my notes. Okay. Say hi.
There she is.
Next thing about pictures is, if you're doing something other than PhotoPass, if you're just taking pictures on your phone as well, which is totally fine, you can do that. The attendant or whoever will take the picture for you. Have one person in your party take the pictures on their phone. Even if you want pictures of like each individual family, or each person wants an individual picture, just take them all on one phone and then send them to people. It takes less time, and you're less chances that you're gonna like forget something or leave your phone there, or like anything like that.
And you could text it to the other parties or airdrop it.
It just makes it easier on everybody, including you, because then you're not going to be stressed about, oh, here's this phone, this phone, this phone, whose phone is this at the end, and then you end up lingering, and then it just ends up, the whole thing just slows down. Take one phone, take them all, send them around.
Yeah. Easier.
And I promise you, it'll make your life just a little bit easier too. Okay. Yeah, I think that's all of it. Another last couple things is just general tips and things to be aware of. Just my top thing that you should remember from this video is being kind, because people tend to forget. They get so starstruck and they totally forget that the characters are people too. Mickey Mouse is like, you've seen him. He walks around. He's a person. Don't do things that you wouldn't do to like a normal person.
Yeah.
Just because he's a mouse doesn't mean that he doesn't have feelings, doesn't mean that he can't feel when you are yanking on his ears. So don't do things like that. I wouldn't walk up to a random person and start yanking on your ear. Don't do it to Mickey. Same with Cinderella. You wouldn't come up and just like randomly touch like someone's dress like this and like grab at it. Don't do it to her, because she doesn't want you to. Most of the time, I mean, I can't speak for her myself, but I don't think I'd want you to, so.
No.
Just being kind. And if you do want to do things like, oh, ask. Oh, Cinderella, your sleeves are really pretty. Do you mind if I touch it? If I feel it. Ask them. Don't just do it, because then it's just rude. It's generally just rude. Just don't do it. That's all I have to say. I've seen it happen way too many times. I've seen people, Town Square Theater. We go to meet Mickey there a lot because he's our favorite. And the pictures just turn out really well. If you've never done the 50th picture there's like a magic thing that happens at the top. It's really cool. Go see it. I've seen him get picked up. I've seen his ears get yanked, and then Mickey almost falls over, and that's just not very nice. No, is it? It's not. Don't do that to him. Another thing is, don't lean on them, because they're generally gonna tell you not to anyway. I've seen it happen. I literally saw Mickey say, no, like, please don't lean on me, and he'll like go on the other side of you. Don't lean on them. Especially like the smaller characters like that. They're little.
Yeah, I'm usually taller and bigger than most of the characters, so I know not to.
Don't lean on them, because they're little and you don't want to hurt them.
All
Stand
of our
on your own
animals
2
are
feet.
trying to get into
You got
this
2 feet
video
for a
today.
reason. Stand on your own 2 feet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Last thing I have to say is if you are unsure or you just generally want the interaction to go smoothly, talk to the attendant. Ask for help. That is the whole reason that they are there, is to help the character, to help the photographer, to help you. If you don't know what they can sign, ask. If you don't know what he's allowed to do and not to do in pictures, ask.
And also a really good source for photo ideas is the characters themselves or the photographer. They can come up with really cute ideas.
A lot of times the character will even pose you.
Mm-hmm.
Like when we, Mike and I went to see Mickey, he posed us himself. So just ask. You can literally say, hey, Minnie, how should we pose? And then she'll go, ooh, I have an idea, and like tell you. Like, if you don't know, ask.
Mm-hmm.
Because just standing there is just cutting down on your interaction time, cutting down on everyone else behind you. Like, it's just not, it stresses everybody out.
Yes.
So ask. Top 3 things to remember. Decide your pictures before you get into the interaction. Do your group pictures first. Be ready, be courteous, be kind.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Thanks, guys. Have a good
Thank you.
one.